The eighth principle of regenerative agricultural systems is simply that weeds are a barometer of soil health. We understand that different crops have different nutritional requirements. Blueberries have different requirements from alfalfa, which have different requirements from tomato, which have different requirements from soybeans. Every one of these different crops has a different soil profile requirement from two different perspectives, both from a mineral nutrition perspective and also from a soil biology perspective. They have very specific soil microbial symbionts, and they thrive in a very specific nutritional profile. This same concept holds true for the plants that we call weeds. These plants that we call weeds are usually pioneering species that will thrive in soils which have very imbalanced microbial profiles and very imbalanced nutritional profiles and what are required to grow really healthy domesticated crops. So what we find in monitoring, when we work with farms, we do not measure only the crop health of the crop that we're working with, we also evaluate the weeds. What types of weeds do we have growing in a certain field and how healthy are those weeds? And what we see consistently is that as the crop health improves, weed health declines. And when we reach a tipping point at which the crops are healthier than the weeds, they're photosynthesizing more efficiently, they have a higher sugar content in the leaf, a higher Brix reading than the weeds do, then all of a sudden really interesting things begin to happen. The weeds will get the disease and insect pests before the crops will. This is red root pigweed on the farm that I grew up on. When I was growing up, red root pigweed and lamb's quarter were our two predominant weed species, consistently growing to 4.5 to 5 feet tall. Today, neither of those two weed species successfully reproduces on our farm. We still have them, the plants are still there, but today instead of growing 4.5 to 5 feet tall, these plants are typically growing 18 to 20 inches tall, and the pigweed gets this disease. I'm not sure, I have not identified it positively, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if we flip these leaves over, there will be a white mold fuzzy growth on the bottom side of the leaf. And these plants will never successfully reproduce. They will be dead in another 2 to 3 weeks depending on the weather conditions. So this is what can happen when soil health regenerates and soils and farms truly start becoming healthier and healthier and healthier. This makes farming a lot of fun. But there is something else that makes farming even more fun. This is lamb's quarter, infested with black aphids. What is even more interesting about this picture with the lamb's quarter and the black aphids was that these lamb's quarter plants, there was a patch of lamb's quarter plants that I took these images from that were at the corner of, were in the intersection of fields planted in 3 different crops. One field was planted in tomatoes, another field planted in potatoes, and a third field planted in salad greens, lettuce and spinach and a variety of mixed greens. Not one of those crops had any aphids whatsoever, and yet the lamb's quarter were loaded with aphids. So that is really what is possible when soil health regenerates, plant health regenerates, and we have a truly functional system that is functioning as it was intended and designed to function. As soil health improves, our domesticated crops will improve, and weeds will lose their vigor since they are no longer needed to balance those soil imbalances.